Oh, yeah, apologies for waking up all late and everything. Women are to blame, as is usual in my life. And as usual, it's my own fucking fault. Staying out way too late. Eating at a McDonald's late at night. Whoa. Whoa. That ain't a recipe for a bad sleep. Cursed clown. All right, what do we got here? Let's get this guy live and then invite a whole bunch of people. But I think I might be flying solo this morning. Lord have mercy upon me. All right, what do we got? There's my withered countenance. Yeah, so we're at 3 of 688 pages. All right, so there's that old topic. Bop. Day 2. I did not want to. I just wanted to give up today. Honest to God. But I was too wicked. Shout out to MTW, who got sentenced to 7 years in federal prison yesterday. If you watch the other show, you know that whole story. Oh shit. Oh, people are going fishing in the other chat. Damn. How come I'm not going fishing? I want to fish in exposition. All right, what do we got here? Yeah, and there are other writers like in the morning, so now I've got to compete. What do we got there? Somebody in the chat was just like, we editing. Niggas don't fuck with MS Word. Uh, I don't know if that's technically true, but yeah, definitely I have to use MS Word at several points during the publishing process. Essentially, like any manuscript that you send to most venues has to become a docx at some point. And the way that, busy this morning cleaning and shit, well, you're missing out because this is the start of the new epic fantasy thing. So to start off with, I'm going to read through the previous chapter and think about an idea that I had. And I apologize for, like, there will be an air conditioner running in all of my streams until fucking August. I might potentially put up like a big old sound barrier to block some of the noise of this thing, but it's just, it's just how it is. About half of the year, listen while I'm working. I love epic fantasy. Well, cool. Well, it'll be a good. I'm just glad to have some company on the stream there. It's a good one because we're going to start off reading. So this is a story about a legendary dungeon that many people get coerced or tricked into getting into. It's inspired by my absolute adornment of Ian Livingstone's Death Trap Dungeon, and I think Steve Jackson was involved in some kind of way. But Steve Jackson dipped his wick in a lot of different candles or whatever, or prostitutes, or however it's said correctly. But he was kind of a real one. I love that the fucking feds raided his office over their Illuminati game way back in the day. Speaking of feds raiding and so forth, I'm still waiting to see what the fallout from MT Dubs is going to be. As you know, he was of the snitching proclivity and was a federal informant. And while being a federal informant, continued to commit grievous crimes and participate in scams, like while he had an ankle bracelet or some shit like that. It's a whole whatever. All right, so for today, Outlook. I may have to go to actual work at some point here. So it may be an abbreviated editing stream, but I bet we can still get more than 3 pages that we got yesterday. Ridiculous. All right, well, let's go through a reread of this chapter, just because it was so extensively rewritten. And one of the notes that I had for myself yesterday was you don't even know where the setting is. We don't talk about the description at all of the place. So I'm going to try and add some of that in there. You're dead, idiot. Revel looked down. The dull blade of the old man's training rapier was pressed against his thigh. Again. It was the third touch in a row. Big vein there. You'd bleed out like the pig you are. Tourniquet couldn't save you, the old man crowed. The old man withdrew the point of his rapier, then suddenly jabbed it back twice as hard. There was no mercy in his ancient gray eyes. The old man had washed up on the beach one day like driftwood. So I know that the place where he washed up is called Tinkerton. Yeah. Yep. Tinkerton. This is a shout out to Pinkerton and my boys Weezer. All right. So the old man withdrew the point of his rapier, then suddenly jabbed it back twice as hard. There was no mercy in his ancient gray eyes. The old man had washed up on the beach one day, like driftwood. Oh, no, it's not a time clause. Well, let's think about it. It's like he washes up on the beach one day, and like driftwood is an adjectival phrase. It's a simile. I don't think it needs a comma. So, and I don't have my comma people here to help me out here. So, we're going raw. He remembered nothing. Not even his name. Everyone in Tinkerton called him Fish. So let's. I like this. I like this little. There's like a little bit of nautical theme to the beginning of this story here, because it really concerns like a kind of like a piratey town on a coast of an archipelago. So I'd like to get a little of that flavor into here, because we just don't talk about the setting at all in this chapter. So I'm going to work on it a little bit. The old man had washed up on the beach one day like driftwood. He remembered nothing, not even his name. Some angler cast a line and hooked him as he tumbled in the breakers. Afterward, everyone called him Fish. His face was a ruin of deep lines and faded scars, but he could fight like no one else. The old man's face was a ruin of deep lines and faded scars, but he could fight like no one Revel had ever seen. Defeat was a new feeling for Revel V. Ramos, one he couldn't swallow. He was a head taller than Fish. His shoulders were broad and draped with a mane of rich black curls. Fish's hair had been trimmed down. Okay, so there we go. We're gonna. Yeah, we're still breaking this up. So we'll do the description. Is it's the story is told right now through the POV of Rebel B. Ramus, oafish nobleman. So what we're going to do is use the fact that we're like POV is one of the most important tools in how you tell a fantasy story, because everything should be a little bit shaded by the eyes of the lens that you're seeing through it. So we can use that. Like I want to have more description of the landscape. Like what's it smell like there? Like, you know, is there seaweed rotting? Is like a sand fleas biting your nuts or whatever? So we can change that up a little bit, and also we can smooth out this description. Like we had the description of the well, he's not the protagonist of the story, but as far as the reader knows, he's the protagonist right now. So it was broken up with also some description of the old man Fish. Salty spray on your gooch exactly. Ugh, what a feeling that would be. Yeah, it's fucking muggy and miserable already. Mark this day, fucking Friday, June 4th, is the day where it like the end of not having air conditioning. Ugh, it's like being in an armpit when you're outside. I should have spent more time taking motorcycle trips on the weekend. I think instead I just played video games and fucked around. The nobleman was a head taller than Fish. His shoulders were broad and draped with a mane of rich black curls. He was educated and literate. He'd trained every day with us. Yeah. See, I want something like martial training, but uh, yeah. I see. If you say he trained at swordplay every day, it makes it sound like it's not something that he's taking seriously. And like Marshall doesn't really. Swordsmanship. Yeah, I don't like this sentence at all. Where it's going. He was educated and literate. Bred for leadership. I don't think I leadership bred, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Mm, he's heir to the throne. Yeah. He'd been drilled in sword fighting and tactics every day since his 6th birthday. As the firstborn son of Duke Ramos, he'd once been heir to all of Laz. There we go. Even his smile was white and perfect, a rich man's mouth. He sharpened his mind as well as his blade. So let's go through that paragraph again and try to avoid that kind of pat phraseology. I like that though. He sharpened his mind as well as his blade, spending hours each day parrying, thrusting, and honing his penis. Let's see. Defeat was a new feeling for Revelry Ramos, one he couldn't swallow. The nobleman was a head taller than his adversary. His shoulders were broad and draped with a mane of rich back. Yeah. Revel's shoulders were broad and draped with a mane of rich black curls. He was educated and literate. He'd been drilled in sword fighting and tactics. Yeah. He'd drilled in sword fighting and tactics every day since his 6th birthday. As the firstborn son of Duke Ramos, he'd once been heir to all of Laz. Even his smile was white and perfect, a rich man's mouth. Okay, so this around hits the mark. So this should read like a litany of reasons why Revel should just be like mopping the floor with this greasy old man, but he's not. He's getting his ass kicked, or his balls kicked, as we'll get into in a second. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is he an aristocrat? Yeah, in the sense of that joke. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. The aristocrats. Yeah, he would be a member. He would be a member of. In the context of this this particular fantasy story, it's much more of a warrior caste than just like a sort of purely ornamental aristocracy. One of the underlying things that they're gearing up for war, and the fact that this character is off fucking around like Luke Skywalker in the swamp is a problem. So, Fish and Revel were sweating. Uh-huh. Mm. I like that. Sweat ran from Revel's brow and rivers. There was no cover on this desolate spit of sand. Sweat ran from Revel's brow and rivers. There was no cover on this desolate spit of spit of sand. So we have fish refuses to spar out there on those proving grounds. Oh, yeah, let me bring this up. Oh, that's cool. Let's see. Oh, shit, I should show you. We got some new proofs came through for Zeros. So this is the hardcover in a matte edition, and then this is the matte edition of the softcover. And just make sure. And we added this little teeny fighter jet to the back there. And I made a few changes there. These aren't the finished proof editions. Oh, listen to that. The like roar of the pages right there. I made it's okay. But the typesetting is a lot better in the later ones, Bringer of Jollity and so forth. It's a good fucking book, man. I hope we can sell ample copies of this guy right there. But I'm also detracting from what we really need to do right here. I wonder how far they would be from town. Two hours of hard roving. From what kind of docks are they? Mm-hmm. Part of the payment for these lessons. Okay. Sweat ran from Revel's brow in rivers. There was no cover on this desolate spit of sand. Let's give it a name. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let me make sure that I'm using the word archipelago right. I think it's a group of islands. A group of islands, yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'd like to. This is our chance to inject some flavor into this particular thing. So I want to come up with something that is period appropriate to. Yeah. Shout out to the Dark Mage right there. Da, da, da. Ooh. Huh. I like this. Why does this fucking yeah? Ugh, you're the worst. OSX. System preferences. Sound output. Show volume menu bar. And then yeah, it should be the built-in fucking speakers. But it's decided to mute itself for some fucking reason. Here, play.
Helical.
Huh. Yeah, I like that. Wait, what's an exocarp?
Exocarp.
Epicarp.
Wow, I've never heard of these. Actually, oh yeah, yeah, like uh, hey, good morning there, G. Oh, thank you for it's MacOS now. Well, fuck off. Oh, and okay, it finally put this here, so I could fix that the next time. Mac OS. I've been calling it fucking OS X for 20 years. I'm not gonna stop now. Let's come up with. My work gets their thick shipment of 20 M1s. Yeah, the M1s aren't so bad. They renamed it to macOS since 11.0, so no more X. macOS? That sounds stupid. OS X sounded cool. Because it sounded like, oh, hold on just a second. Somebody's fucking summoning me to the chat. Is that QPT? Nah, it doesn't look like QPT. Some fucking idiot. I don't give a shit. Oh, it's probably Neuro. I might have to put him out. Yeah, if you're in this chat and like you're having some problemo or whatever, this is as fucking high a quick pace as it gets right here. There's going to be a long ass edit of the story, and it'll be fairly miserable. It's going to take about 150 days, I think. And there's no forcing it. Epic fantasy, you got to take your time and like really work in some details and so forth. Because I mean, people are reading this because they want to forget about their life and be completely immersed in something else. So a lot of my problem with the initial draft is there's not enough description. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, the 20 M1s is... Well, I think you already know what it is. All right. Let's see. Sweat ran down Revel's brow in rivers. There was no cover on this desolate spit of sand. It was 2 hours of hard rowing from the docks of Tinkerton to the crab-infested Pellicle Archipelago. I like that. Pellico Archipelago. All right, and so let me make sure that I believe that the prow is the front of the. Yeah, that's what. Um, the portion of a ship's bow above the water. Mm. Revel labored at the oars like a galley slave, while the old man leaned against the bow with his arms behind his head, yammering endlessly. Uh, I don't think he would yammer endlessly, this character. So I want what's the word for supreme laziness? Oh. That's not apathy. Not sloth. Dilatory. Oh, we used dilatory at some point there. Mm, I think languid. We almost used that a little bit earlier. Oh, I like leisure. Oh, that's a good sign when I'm having a good time fucking editing this thing. All right, so sweat ran from Revel's brow and rivers. There was no cover on this desolate spit of sand. It was 2 hours of hard rowing from the docks of Tinkerton to the crab-infested Pellicle archipelago. The price of these lessons was rowing this surly old man out here. Half the price of these lessons. Half the price of these lessons was rowing this surly old man out here. Revel labored at the oars like a galley slave. Did we already say his name here? Yeah, we did. We established it earlier on. While Fish leaned idle against the bow, resting his arms behind his head as he... Oh yeah, howdy, George Washington there. That compounds my theory that you are neuro, but we'll see. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm hot on the trail right there. Okay. Sweat ran from Revel's brow in rivers. There was no cover on this desolate spit of sand. It was 2 hours of hard rowing from the docks of Tinkerton to the crab-infested Pellicle I wonder if I should change the name of this because I can't fucking say it. Pellicle Archipelago. It's helpful if we archipelago. Half the price of these lessons was rowing the surly old man out here. Revel labored at the oars like a galley slave, while Fish leaned idle against the bow. Revel labored at the oars like a galley slave. Meanwhile, Fish leaned idle against the bow, whistling as he composed new insults to fling at Revel. I like it. Yeah, I'm doing decent at the moment right here. I'm about to have a conference call with some lawyers in a hot second here. I don't like doing that shit. But it must be done. Can't wait to read about the Rapasaurus. There used to be a lot of rape in the Rapasaurus, but I toned it down a little bit because it was really, it was just really rape for rape's sake, and I guess you're not really supposed to do that in epic fantasy. Yeah. I'll tell you who had like a ton of well done rape in his story was our boy R. Scott Baker, or Baker, or whatever, with his Prince of Nothing series. Good lord. I love his description of like this ancient race of rapists. and he hits like the creepy, like people are sort of into the rape kind of tenor there. That guy is his writing is astounding. He's like an anthropologist and really has gotten deep into his whole thing. It really has this like this Sumerian, dusty, like ancient feeling caking into everything. And that my writing, I'm not an anthropologist. I don't have his level of insight. So we'll see what's what and who's who. At the kind of well, do I plan on writing a book about a madman who goes chaotic and kills a bunch of people? Yeah, we fucking did it. Called pro bono for nothing. Nice G. Yeah, we did it. Lemon Maybe and the Electric Lady was absolutely about a guy who goes insane and kills thousands of people. Yeah, we did the whole fucking book. It was amazing. You should have been here. You can actually watch through the entire stream of us editing the book, every single word that's in there. Is that not how you spell Wiley? Yeah, hold on. Huh. How the fuck do you spell Wiley? Yeah, so I guess Wiley. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's how I'm spelling it right there. But I think it's not a word. No, Willie. Wiley. Yeah, so this is the word that we wanted. I would have never expected that there was no E there. Wiley. Wiley, 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 Wiley. It sounds like there's an E in it. I think the E just comes from fucking Roadrunner cartoons, like Wile E. Coyote. Let's see how it looks on the page. Willie. Yeah, that doesn't look like Wiley to my eye right there. There we go. Reeking of slime. Ichor. No, Ichor's not right. Well, this big PCAP and Rabhorn on the scene. What do we got here? So how fucking telly is this? So this is like our third or fourth paragraph in the book. Uh, bu- 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 I don't like charitable there. I like philanthropic. Um, Philanthropic. What? Eleemosynary? What the fuck is this? Never heard.
Eleemosynary.
Eleemosynary? What the fuck is that? Oh, I gotta hear where this is from. Eleemosynary. This is brand new to me. I've never seen this one in all my days. Where does it come from? It's from medieval Latin, alms dispenser. Wow. Huh.
Eleemosynary.
Ooh, listen to her voice.
Eleemosynary.
She's got a good one. Damn. Yeah, never. Eleemosynary. So, alms dispenser. Eleemosynary. Alms from Eleo. I have mercy. Oh, so Elea is the goddess of mercy in Greek myth. We came into that in Aporia and Astoria because their fucking their emulation exceeded even Alea's endurance, and then there's exasperation sighing down from Empyrean. Holy shit! Yeah, that's wild. But yeah, from Eleos. So Elemosina, doublet of alms. All right, well, I probably won't remember this, but it seems. So we. Yeah, I don't like just merciful there though. That's I almost like charitable a little bit better. Let's take a look through charitable. Sympathetic. I want. Yeah, a really condolatory, pitying. An angler took pity and hooked him as he tumbled in the breakers. Afterward, everyone called him Fish. The old man's face was a ruin of deep. I should have worn my Old Man in the Sea shirt for this fucking session. I thought about it. Instead, we got our boy Ludwig right here. Well, there he is. Get these shirts on zagzyz.com. That's the Right to Bear Arms shirt. I think it's dope. I might get one of these in black, but yeah, they're high quality apparel for your writing needs. An angler took pity and hooked him. An angler took pity on the castaway and hooked him as he tumbled in the breakers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, you got that Xanon ink in black? Yeah, that's a fucking dope looking shirt. I like that there's no text on them, right? Like you don't need my giant fucking name all over them or whatever, and just like very few people on the earth will get where we're coming from. All right, hold on, I gotta answer this query. Bop. And then oh, I love that the fucking company teams group is just constantly a buzz with declarations of virtue. You fell asleep on the couch, Logic? Well, we just went back to this first. We're gonna spend like 2 days just on this first chapter. You had no name. Mm-hmm. All right, so here's fish is one of our. I mean, everybody we've described so far as one of the. Forgotten his name. Yeah, just if you drift too far out in the ocean, you forget everything in this story. The old man withdrew the point of his rapier, then suddenly jabbed it back twice as hard. There was no mercy in his ancient gray eyes. He'd forgotten everything, even his name. Even his name. Mm-hmm. Nobody was looking into the deep. Yeah, yeah, that was like back in the day. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Oh. All right, so I like this. I like this wrinkle on the fish story where they're just like, "Fuck that body," and then some boys like, and then hooks him uh, straight through the asshole. And you and me will know that he was hooked through the asshole. But yeah, and we need a colon there. I want to say like kick the. Let me see. So there's what's a word for a body found on the beach? Is that like a stowaway? The boy was repaid. Yeah, this is like a hokey paragraph or whatever. God, putting some work into this one here. Um, the story was one day the old man washed up on Bugger's Beach, bare as driftwood. He had nothing to loot, so the fishermen let the tide suck him back out to sea. Then some blasphemous boy hooked him for sport, as his body tumbled in the breakers. Revel could relate. The old man's face was a ruin of deep lines and faded scars, but he could fight like no one Revel had ever seen. Everyone called him Fish. Okay, cool. Really like that. So it like establishes like a little bit of a scenery. It puts in that like the fishermen are the type of people like doesn't have anything we could take. Let this fucking ocean have him. And then we get to throw in Bugger Beach, which is great. Or Bugger's Beach. And then the boy hooking him in the asshole, and this is all just brand new. So I like everywhere that this is going. Mm-hmm. Revel paid for these lessons by rowing the surly old man out to the godforsaken strand and helping him fish. Mm-hmm. What's a word for something that lays beneath the surface? On the surface. Uh, dangerous. Perilous reefs, difficult reefs. I kind of like hairy reefs, but precarious. I could say like precarious reefs. It's a little much. Just rocky reefs is. Again, we're not doing the same. I should be able to help, but yeah, it's a little bit. It's this engine is gonna take a while to crank. We'll get into a rugged Asperus. What the hell? Like aspirations? Huh. I like irregular reefs, but so what are reefs like? What are these specific reefs like? They're like teeming. They're oh, I like uncouth reefs. No, uncouth I like, but it's not. Um, I like arduous, but arduous is more of a description for whatever there. Uh, I think. Oh, I almost like nasty there, but again, it's not the right word. Unsafe. All right, so it'd be somewhere around here. I like kind of unstable. I think we just have to go with precarious. Well, it's dangerous, dicey. Dicey almost works. Broken, ragged, rugged, touchy, ticklish, slippery, unhealthy, uh, risky. Huh. I can't believe we're like focusing so hard on this whole deal. Um, yeah, see, perilous is too far, and then risky is not quite right. Oh, I love something. Yeah. Submerged reef beneath the surface of the sea. None of these are right. Isogtherm. Subspinous. What the fuck is this? What? Oh, that's crazy. That is. uh, I actually really like subspinous. I'm going with this. Oh, somewhat spinous. Uh, situated beneath the spinal column, right there. Here, let's take a look at Wiktionary. I like that. Yeah, scapula. Fuck it. I mean, we could probably just call them spiny, but and like holes. Mm-hmm. Uh, let's see. Murky. Mm-hmm. Caligonous. No, we're not. We can't do. Gaping holes. No, it's not quite. Did you see my tweet yesterday where Bernie Bros had put out a hurtful statement that Debbie Wasserman Schultz had a vagina as wide as a gulch, and the SWV, the supporters of wide vaginas, demanded an apology. Oh. Um, Caligonous. I like gloomy. Crepuscular. What the fuck? I like tenebrous. uh, tenebrous is like a little bit
Tenebrous.
tenebrous. Dingy holes. Can we get away with that? Sandy holes, hairy holes. Mm, Black vents. No, not smoking vents, but yeah. What if the entire book is just one big allegory for assholes? I could get with that. Let me take a look. Oh, cool. My cables are showing up. Uh, let's see. uh, let's see. Hey, we can tell that I'm just like tapped out on inspiration here, like really struggling to come up with a way to describe um, like essentially like an asshole in the sea. The puckered holes. Uh, well, since they're um, I don't like knobby events. Yeah, glittering vents. Because Gelton, we're kind of saying that they're golden eels right there. I don't think we can actually use. Yeah, craggy holes. Craggy holes is not too bad. After each lesson, Revel would spend the entire afternoon rowing the wretched diggy around the reefs that ring the archipelago. What's the edge of a yeah, top edge of a hull? A gunwale is what we want. I think there are different terms for rowboats. You're probably right. We're going so deep on this story. Noble born rower. I like that. um, can we call it the gunwale of a rowboat? Gunwale of the Cutty Sark. On a canoe, the gunwale. Okay, so you can have a canoe, gunwale. So yeah, we're good. On a narrowboat or canal boat, synonymous with the side deck, gunwale works. I looked up. Yeah, that's cool. I like the use of gunwale there. That we don't have like much nautical shit in the book, but like there is a certain class of sea nerd where they'll just really like that. All right, so we put in work on these chapters. Sweat ran from Revel's brow and Rivers. There was no cover on this desolate spit of sand. It was 2 hours of hard rowing from the docks of Tinkerton to the crab-infested Pellicle archipelago. Revel paid for his lessons by rowing the surly old man out here, laboring at the oars like a galley slave. Revel paid for his lessons by laboring at the oars like a galley slave. He did all the rowing while Fish leaned idle against the bow, passing the time by composing new insults for his noble-born rower. Yeah, I like that. After each lesson, um, after sparring, Revel would spend the entire afternoon rowing the wretched dinghy around the reefs that ring the archipelago. Yeah. After sparring, Revel would spend the entire afternoon rowing the wretched dinghy around the spiny ring. Why in the fuck would that happen? Ugh. That is not supposed to make a fucking sound. I don't care. You can fuck off. There, fuck off. I don't know why anybody calls that number. And I definitely... Are they fucking calling me back? You can suck a dick. Let me see. What is this number? Yeah, they really got to do something on like a not just like a congressional level, but every person on the earth should band together and just say that anybody that's involved in fucking calling you up about auto warranties or whatever, we just as a species need to decide to execute these people. I'm 100% serious. The penalty should be death. I don't care how hungry you are, how many like children you have to feed or whatever. If fucking spam phone calls is what you do for a living, this includes you, Orenheimer. Um, they used to do that shit back in the day. These people just need to be executed. And if you don't believe in that, I don't know. Yeah, wake up, Joe Biden. Wake up, Joe Biden. Wake up. When the sparring was through, Revel knew he'd spend the whole afternoon. I told you I was trying to make my own Kleck. The shadiest industries in the universe. They're all scum. They started hacking and destroying the call scam centers now. Yeah, I don't think that's enough. I really feel that that's just plowing the sea. We need to murder these people. Um, it's, it's weird how acceptable it seems to me to just saying that as a species we should have a genocide against everybody who there's just certain acts where they're unforgivable sins, and I think that's one of them. Just fucking calling people all the time with your robots. But I'm sure some liberal will disagree with my policy of call center genocide. Yeah, those people have to fucking go, man. You can't have that. Revel knew when the sparring was through. Yeah, that's better. When he was through losing, Revel would spend the whole afternoon rowing the wretched dinghy. Fish would lean over the gunwale, peering into the depths in search of the glittering vents where Gelt and Eel laired. I, for one, wholly support your state-sponsored call center genocide program. Really and truly, how many people are going to disagree with this? You know, there are just certain crimes where we fucked up when we tried to like turn Australia into an actual country. We should have kept it as a monster island where any kind of genetic engineering goes, where you can test any chemical that you want, where there's cameras like all over the island. I've gone into this before, but I just love the idea. I should write a book about this, where everybody just has to leave Australia, and we just turn it into a Mad Max wasteland, and we dump all of our undesirables of there, like hack science fiction writers, fucking pedophiles. Who else goes into the pit? Like call center people, obviously there. Who else is totally useless? Like anybody who is so fat that they can't move under their own power. Like let's put them there. Fucking anybody who works in sales. I'm not gonna say every lawyer because like some of them you need, but we could probably dispense with 98% of them, and the world would be a happier place. Fuck, who else goes on Monster Island? Monsters, obviously. Lots of monsters. You have to cook up any of those animals that are just, you know, kind of assholes, like hippopotamuses and stuff, where we don't want to get rid of all of them, but they sure are assholes. That'd be fucking great. Turn them loose. I'd say just like similarly, like 98% of the people that work for the federal and state government, they can go. I don't. God, it would really be difficult to put the Chinese on Monster Island because they just turned it into a province of China. So industrious. They just conquer that motherfucker. Then you'd have like warring states and warlords, and they'd start building a giant wall around it and everything, and it just ruins the whole effect. They're working on conquering Australia anyway, so maybe that's their game plan. They're like, we need a place to put all these Uyghur dissidents and so forth. Special Autonomous Region Monster Island. I love it. SARMI, for short. So we haven't named the bay or whatever here, but in 3 weeks of sparring, Revel hadn't landed a single touch. Fish never let him forget it. Every word out of his crooked grin was an insult. No one had ever dared to speak to Revel this way, and no one had ever beaten him so badly at anything. His inner thigh still stung. No, I don't like that. He knew it was a mistake to talk back, but he couldn't resist. A poke would have bounced right off a thigh plate. You were wide open. I could have taken your head off, Revel protested. Revel complained. My mistake. I didn't realize you were wearing armor. You won't feel this at all. The old man's shoulder twitched. Revel ducked immediately, expecting Fish to wallop him with the pommel of his rapier. He'd fallen for that trick twice already. This time it was a feint. Fish kicked as Revel ducked, catching him square in the balls with the toe of his boot. I don't think we need toe of the boot. Catching him square in the balls, Revel keeled over. The practice blade fell from his grip and thudded into the sand. He curled into a tight ball of misery, spitting grit and bile. That lakey bastard. Fish stood over Revel, shaking his head. Guess that codpiece wasn't on right. I'll kill you, Revel sputtered through a mouthful of sand. So I think hissed. Yeah. The loveliest part of China. It would be a lovely fucking monster island. It would be like a terrible beauty to it. It's just, Australia's not really doing anything for us, as is. We really ought to just monsterify it. And most of the Australians I know agree with me. Like QPT, Alyosha, they're happy to, because they were already pretty monstrous as they are. I'll kill you, Revel hissed. I'll kill you. Revel hissed through a mouthful of sand. The fisherman's smile evaporated. The old fisherman's smile evaporated. Did you just threaten my life? Fish asked. He positioned the rapier's point an inch from Revel's nose. Dull or not, Fish could drive the blade through Revel's eye faster than he could blink. I didn't. Revel coughed. Revel coughed up dirt. I like the sound of that. I know you didn't. I wouldn't suffer such a threat. I wouldn't suffer such a threat. I get back in my boat and leave you here to pray for a passing ship. I get back in my boat and leave you here. Pray for a passing ship, boy. Boy. Revel sat up with effort. He wasn't ready to stand. The old man's eyes never left him. They were cold and uncaring, the pure, colorless gray of those who ventured too deep into the lake. Yeah. Who knew what Fish would do? There was no telling what the old man would do. How long would you wait? The ship to Kaz was yesterday. No food, no shelter. You might last a day. Not many fishing boats come out this far. Not many come out this far. Maybe you could swim for it and hope the sharks aren't hungry. What do you think about that, you cocksucking, kick-ducking shant? Revel had no reply. Fish laughed at him, long and hard. Keck Ducker, that's rich. I gotta tell Herc that one. The Most High smile on you, boy. I'll spare you today. But you won't forget this, will you? Never threaten me until you're ready to kill me or die yourself. I won't forget, Revel swore. That was the end of sparring. Sitting gingerly on the plank, there'd be no fishing today. A storm was brewing. Sitting gingerly on the plank. Sitting gingerly on the plank, Revel rowed them both back. Revel rowed back to Laz. And so I think we let's there's some place confusion here. We clear that up a little bit later, but Fish was finished talking. He stared out of the deep lake. He stared out and he stared towards the deep lake with his gray, empty eyes, searching for something. All right, so I like the way that goes. Holy fuck, that we spent 2 days on 3 pages. But I mean, it is the start of the chapter. So considerable improvements on here, both in like our narrator voice. We made our dialogue like a little bit more realistic, and the fish character is important. We give him like a little bit more of a legendary status by having him. The story was, one day the old man was washed up on Bugger's Beach, bare as driftwood. He had nothing to loot, so the fishermen let the tide suck him back out to sea. Then some blasphemous scamp hooked him for sport as his body tumbled in the breakers. That boy likely saved his life. Oh wow, that's much better. Yeah. The story was, one day the old man washed up on Bugger's Beach. Let's just make it Beggar's Beach. Yeah, it's a little bit better. It's easier to say, and you and I can know that it was Bugger's Beach. But yeah, it's just, I don't want people thinking about ass fucking this early in the story. The old man withdrew the point of his rapier. The story was, one day the old man washed up on Beggar's Beach, bare as driftwood. He had nothing to loot, so the fishermen let the tide suck him back out to sea. Then some blasphemous scamp hooked him for sport as his body tumbled in the breakers. To his utmost surprise, To the boy's utmost surprise, the dead man revived as he was reeled in. For saving his life, the old man repaid the boy with the beating of a lifetime. Revel could relate. The old man's face was a ruin of deep lines and faded scars, but he could fight like no one Revel had ever seen. Everyone called him Fish. Alright, that's better. And then we add a little bit about, we really shaped up tautology. I already think of that all the time. I like this rich man's mouth right there. So we did what I wanted, talking a little bit about we gave a name to the little archipelago. We talk about the reef and like some of the Gelton eel. And this is when I read like a fantasy story, I want to hear about things like this. Like, what do people do? Like, what are they eating? What are the details and so forth? And the reality of him like fishing. Some of the simple definitions that we put in here, like talking about just the word gun whale, puts me more into a place of, okay, like there's some story there. We haven't talked any about like what it smells like over there. So we didn't engage that sense at all. Is there a place where we could do it? And we talk a little bit about pain there. To the crab-infested, seaweed-stinking Pellicle Archipelago. Oh, I like that, yeah. Yeah. Nice. So immediately, like in my mind, I'm like thinking about all the seaweed that washes up out on the beaches near Monterey, like those little bulbs of water that keep them afloat and so forth. Yeah, barrier islands. The price for these lessons was laboring at the oars like a galley slave. Revel did all the rowing while Fish leaned idle against the bow, passing the time by composing new insults for his noble-born rower. I want another word for rowing, because we just use rowing like over and over again. You could say work the oars. Oh yeah, yeah, paddling. Revel did all the paddling while Fish leaned idle against the bow, passing the time by composing new insults for his noble-born rower. When he was through losing, sparring, Revel would spend the whole after. When they finished sparring, yeah, that's better. Yeah, and so this is a little bit of that like wax on, wax off type situation right there. When they finished sparring, Revel would spend the whole afternoon rowing the wretched dinghy through the spiny reefs ringing the archipelago. Fish would lean over the gunwale, peering into the depths in search of the glittering vents where Gelton eel laired. It took hours to hook one of the wily bastards. It always fell on Revel to reel the monster in and gut it afterward. Oh, that's fine. He ended each day blistered, burnt, and stinking of slime. Oh, we use stinking above. He ended each day dispirited, blistered, burnt, and bruised. Yeah. Let's just say battered. He ended each day dispirited, blistered, burnt, and battered. Ba-ba-ba, never landed a single touch. That touch. That touch would have bounced right off a thigh plate. You were wide open. Yeah, this is better. In a real fight, that touch would have bounced right off a thigh plate. You were wide open. I could have taken your head off, Revel complained. And then so here he's like, oh, I didn't realize we had fucking armor on. I like that whole thing. Much better chapter. And if it seems like crazy that we spent 2 days on 3 fucking pages, this is the first thing anybody's going to read in this book. Maybe the only thing anybody's going to read in this book. So we got to get it right. And I think we did. I'm happy with it. All right, let me close this whole thing down. I know we didn't edit much today, but it's something. Let's see. And I fixed the frame rate, and then why does it say that we only stream for 11 minutes and 21 seconds? I just... I gotta put the clock back on this motherfucker. But yeah, if anybody is there in the stream who could tell me approximately our time, 2 hours and 14 minutes. I didn't think we had any editing in us today. So that's better. So 2:14. Oh, I didn't keep track of points today. I'm sorry. Let me see. Let me scroll back and see what we got. Oarsman. Oh, I missed Jack of Trades' oarsman thing. So he looked up gunwales, but we got that one. We didn't get to use Supinus. Yeah, you didn't catch any comment. You must be drinking. I like Magnanimous. I wasn't seeing a lot of Jack of Trades' fucking edits right here. He probably like wandered off in a fury. All right, no points for anyone. 204. Okay. Yeah, we just redid. So we should have done this right the fucking first time, but I didn't do it. It was not right the first time. And I have to tell you, chapter 2 is probably the same, but so we're up to 893 words right there. Okay. And I honestly, like, as little as we got done, and as big as this fucking book is, this is the standard that we need to set epic fantasy as a genre as particularly difficult for people to get into. And there's no excuse for having like a shitty first chapter. Like, people will not look past that. And now I have like some interesting things. Right now we understand like there's like a fishing town and so forth. We've set the stage for fish being kind of like a mysterious figure. We have, so the Revel being too much of an oaf is going to be a consistent theme that we try to fix here. In the next chapter, we have to humanize him a little bit. Slept through the first 1.5 hours, lazy on the couch. It's my fault. I slept in today too. I was out late last night with a woman who just texted me like, "Oh, we're thinking about last night." In the midst of this shit, so that's good. I gotta get back to her. I gotta go to PT. I gotta do so many different things today. All right, friends. Thank you for tuning in. We will continue this every day until I'm dead. And tomorrow will be like a slightly lighter day because it's a show night tonight. But I happened to notice I was on before work started. Yeah, I will do this every day for people interested in being a part of the whole deal and getting on the leaderboard and so forth. Redborn, if you had edits that I accepted there, let me know and I'll give you some points. But yeah, if you're around, I'm going to try and do this every single day till we get this done. We will spend 6 months on this motherfucker. I'm just going to tell you right now. This is going to be a long-ass grind. But after the editing today, I feel much better about it because I think that this chapter was like a 3 or 4 to me before, and now it's like an 8 in my mind. Like, this is the kind of thing I like. It's not like the greatest chapter ever, but so much better. Like, really worthy of the extra day. Oh, you can edit while I lift and cook brekkie? Yeah, I need to start lifting while I'm doing this. All right, well, tell your friends, tell your family. I've got new news on Zeros coming out, and I'm going to be working today on like some of the marketing and so forth. Life is good, friends. I'm glad you're here. Everybody have a good day today, and I will see you tomorrow if you can make it. This is day 2. We've been editing an average of 450 words a day. See you tomorrow.